morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the episode of The Blackest Friends. It's me, Robert.
With me, Pete.
Man like Mo, yeah. Starlight, twinkle, twinkle, out here.
You say twinkle, twinkle. Disgusting.
Robert's looking at me like, why is this boy?
Right, it's too late for these shenanigans, man.
Bro.
Too late.
Super late one. Yeah.
I remember the times when, like, back at uni, I'll be up until 3-4 o'clock, be up for lectures at 9 o'clock next day, like it's nothing.
Oh.
How much of those lectures did you remember?
Hey, that's not an important question. The important part was I was there.
You were there. Attendance.
So unhealthy. Those all-nighters, man, to get coursework in that's been due for like months.
Do you know what, yeah? I think it was me and a couple other guys, yeah, in the third year particularly, we lived off Boost and custard creams. In the library, just banging Boost and custard creams all night.
You know that there was the budgeons, isn't it? The budgeons.
Yeah. Right there, sexy chicken wings there,
bro. You get the silver Boost with the blue wrapper.
This was the one back in the day, actually, you know.
Bro, and the fat pack of custard creams, banging all nighter with that. Handed in the dissertation. I banged in that all nighter for like a good week. Handed in the dissertation and slept the whole day. Whole day. Bro, yeah, that dissertation was a madness. I was meant to do research, yeah. I faked the whole thing. And during the presentation, my supervisor was like, "Oh, so how did you do the research?" And like a stupid, I was like, "Oh, that's a good question." What? In hindsight, I'm like, "Nah."
Man.
I got a good grade though, so I'm happy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That course was a madness. Yeah. The first maths lesson we went to, we got homework that counted towards our final mark. So the homework was coursework.
Stress.
That's crazy.
Bro, it got to a point where I just stopped going maths.
Nah, the worst is the lie they tell you that, first year doesn't count.
Bro.
Bro, in some unis, first year doesn't count for anything.
I think it depends on the course as well.
Yeah, but it's like, even when they say it doesn't count, it's only because it counts for like 15% or something. But that 15% is different between the first and the second.
Oh.
I think our first year counted for like 1/7, was it?
It was 25%.
No, it wasn't that much. I think it was 1/7.
I think mine was about 20 or 15. Or like, mine counted.
Yeah, ours counted as well. Yeah, the aerospace engineering anyway counted. Maybe the different streams were different.
What engineering did you do, Robert?
Medical.
Mechanical. Oh, I thought you did mechanical. Medical.
No.
Fam, all of us did engineering on this call. That's wild, you know.
Is it all Ghanaian?
The funniest thing is only one of us is still using our degree.
Yeah.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Well, even like tertiary. Yeah. Not even like.
Because you're still in the field technically. Actually, no. Your first job was in the field.
My first job was in the field, but now I'm just in software.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first job was in aviation software. So yeah, but yeah. No, it's just software.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Hot seat.
I think it's Robert, you know.
Yeah. I think it's me that's hot seat this week.
It's Robert in the hot.
All right. Let's go.
Robert, my question.
Yo.
As a respectable Christian man.
I think I'm mistaken with somebody else, bro.
God forbid.
You might be thinking about somebody else there, Peter.
Yeah.
As a married Christian man, what counsel would you give a man like Jonathan Majors right now?
You know, it's so funny, like, in the car back, we were watching the interview that he did.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I found my Coretta.
He has not learned. He has not learned no lessons from that. Yeah.
So what, in terms of his relationship status?
Yeah. Specifically in terms of his relationship status, because it was evidently his choice of certain type of woman that has led to where he is now. So,
Well, to be fair, he's probably in better standing being married to Megan Good, who was the wife of a pastor. So maybe some of that rubbed off on her, and that maybe some of that can rub off on him.
ew.
I'm talking about the holiness, not anything else.
To get any sort of emissions or rubbing off from dude via the wife is just not nice. Yeah.
You know what? I'll say, bro, you got two roads, okay? One, if you want to go do baby boy lifestyle, go do baby boy lifestyle. When you're tired, go settle down. You know, don't be in a relationship and then be texting other girls, I want to be kissing you. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're going to do baby boy, you know? And the truth is, if you're a rich, famous guy with money, you don't want to be held down by one woman. So don't do it and then go and break her heart afterwards. Don't do it. Let her know what it is. You know, I'm enjoying my youth, my money. This is what it is. If she gets the wrong idea, that's on her. But as long as you said it, she knows you're good. Okay?
Yeah, Joy is reminding you, this is supposed to be advice as a Christian husband. But
Hold on. Is that what she said?
Yep.
Oh, she said that. No, I'm getting up to that. So, as a Christian, or someone who was raised Christian, because, like, I don't know if he's still practicing Christian.
Neither do I, honestly.
Because if he's not, then there's no point giving me giving him Christian advice, because, like, the principles are good, but the principles, we follow the principles because of our belief in God. You know? Okay, wife, talk, since you only be making noises in the background.
No, I'm typing.
No, talk. She's on the chair. She said, I'm typing. Say what you're saying, bro.
Okay. So the question was, as a Christian husband, that is your identity now.
Yeah.
You're not telling anybody to behave Christian, but you, like, in all that you do, you share truth. So I just don't think that there should be because you're not Christian, you can go and do baby boy and then come back. Because as a Christian husband, as a good example in society, you should be advising them the ways of truth, not go and do baby boy and be a slag. And then when you're ready to not be a slag anymore, go and find a wife.
I hear no lies.
My counter argument is, if he had gone to do baby boy, he would still be Kang right now. Can I get an amen?
He'd still be what?
Kang.
I mean, by his own admission, he was seeing himself as like some Obama type dude. I don't know if baby boy would be the way to go.
No, it would, because
Obama was baby boy.
No, because if he's able to make statements like that, he's got some maturing to do. You know, it's like he's one of those guys who wants the perfect woman without the understanding of what the perfect woman entails,
Like Derek.
or like what it comes with.
Derek.
You know, and I think that's true of like a lot of people in a lot of relationships or wanting relationships. They've got an image of this person in their heads, but they don't think about what kind of person they need to be to have
To attract that.
this kind of partner.
Got to be a high value man.
You know,
Alpha.
the guys was mentioning Martin Luther King, Barack Obama.
Oh dear.
his character was not Martin Luther King, Barack Obama.
No.
So
I mean, because Martin Luther King Jr. was going around doing his thing too.
he was he was, but then his impact on the world and the way he carried himself,
Okay, I hear that.
you know.
Yeah.
Yes, he was
I
dipping
mean,
into the.
by Robert's standards, then he was doing his baby boy stuff, and still.
No, but you can't do baby boy and be in a relationship. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna do baby boy, do it while single. That way, there's no misunderstanding.
You gotta be on your Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Hey.
What do you mean? Hey,
You turn around real quick. You're married.
But yeah, okay. Let's be serious, okay? As a Christian married man, if he came to me and said, Robert, what should I do? I'll be like, bro, find you. What's funny?
No.
Oh, you're watching. Okay. I'll say, bro.
She's watching Michael B. Jordan.
I would say, bro, go and find yourself a good woman to settle down with, you know? But and before you find that good woman to settle down with, become the good man that a good woman would want to settle down with. Because it seems like there's some maturing that needs to be done. And that's not to say that I'm any better than him or any more powerful than him. But his sphere of influence and resource is a lot bigger than mine. So there is a level of grounding that he would have to do that maybe I wouldn't, just because his fall from grace is a lot higher than mine is. In worldly
By
terms.
secular standards, fair.
Yeah. And it's important to have a good woman by your side. Maybe someone who understands and can help you become this person that you're hoping and trying to be. You know, black queens are great. You know, you can't go wrong. Well, you can go wrong with black queens.
Definitely go wrong, but
I don't know if it has spirit race thing. I mean, I hear you. I think, I don't know. I do feel like he has so much potential. Like as a Denzel type, Denzel category of, oh no, this guy is just elite talent, diligence, excellence type of deal.
But even Denzel is humble. Chadwick Boseman, humble.
This is so what I
even
would
Matthew Jordan, humble.
I don't know about all that. What I would have wanted was, and especially because I think I've read this somewhere that one of his parents is a preacher, is like, find your faith, man. Like, forget, this could be a blessing. You've lost Kang, fine. Go into the wilderness, go and find God, like proper. Go and grow, go and sit at your parents' feet and listen to the word, because you do have potential, and if you rose here once, you can rise up to it again. But how much better will it be if you have like such a strong foundation? Like, forget about the women, like Megan Good. I don't even like her, but like, just you go and find your faith and get rooted in your faith and be excellent, and you will come back even stronger. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, cool. I can take what you're saying, and I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Well, baby boy, sometimes you just need to do the baby boy and then come back and realize, okay, I'm past that stage in my life now. You know what the Bible says? What the Bible says? It says, I put away the childish things when I became a man. Which,
Okay.
which implies that there was a level of childishness that you went through. And he said, I'm a man now. I gotta put the toys away.
Baby boy.
You're a child. What comes before child? Baby, child, man. Evolution.
Okay. My question for you, Robert. how would you counsel someone who is a Christian and he's like, I believe I can be one of the greats at whatever he's doing, whether it's music, whether it's like whatever it is, like I can be one of the greats. I'm trying to be the GOAT. Like, yeah, man's trying to put my stamp on this industry as one of the greatest that ever went down. Do you think you counsel him that? How would you go about that conversation?
To be honest, I don't know how much counsel I can give him. Just okay. First things first. As long as he's not trying to become a Christian hip hop artist, cool. Let's start there, okay? Because you see them guys there. Boy, I could write a whole sermon about that one.
No. Hold on. What? Why?
Because Christian artists, they don't only be Christian artists, but that's the only box they can fit in, and so they're there until they can break out.
That's a grossly miscategorization of such.
Utterly believe that.
No.
90% of them.
No.
I wouldn't even put a percentage to it like that. I hear what you're saying. There's some that do that, and you can see in the quality of their craft. But that's such a wide brush to paint. Bizzles with, to paint the Linnell Grants with, to paint the there's so many people
doing the work. What about the Andy Minios?
Okay.
Yeah, the
all right. So is your argument that they're using Christian rap to break out into the music scene or to break out into full ministry?
It sounds like your argument is they want to be rappers, but they're not good enough to go mainstream, so they come and sit in Christian hip hop.
Yes.
Disgusting, man.
Or they start off in Christian hip hop, get a little taste for the limelight, and they're like, you know what? Let's go be inspirational artists now.
Who? Give me an example. Give me an example.
He's gonna say Lecrae. He's gonna say
Lecrae.
And the video.
Because I would agree that some Christian rappers almost use Christian rap as a springboard into a different form of ministry, which it may be like being a pastor, being an evangelist, being an apologetic. Like it may be part of their route there. So even with like the Ambassador, with like his album, the Chop Chop, all of them things there, where it's just like there's an apologetic evangelical sort of bent to it. Evangelistical, whatever, bent to it. And even Shailin, who left it to go pastor, God's Servant, who left music totally to go pastor, Trip Lee, who left music to go pastor. And like they've deviated from music where they started, or music has allowed them to dig into the word more, to find more about themselves and stuff, and then deviate into different ministries. Even the Humble Beast guys, they're about all pastors.
But that's more coincidental. I don't think any of them like
did it intentionally.
It's
because you can become a pastor without being a hip hop artist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, but with those, especially, I think they were just being diligent with what they had. They rap, so they were rapping. But
okay, you know what? I'm being an agent of chaos right now. Let's go back to the actual question that was asked. Okay, so you want to be the best? You want to make your mark? I'll say go for it. As long as whatever you're trying to do is not anti-God, go for it. I think we all might have our different ideas of what anti-God means. You know, because you've got
if you want to be the best sniper in your army.
That was between you and God, you know.
I mean, because David had his 3 soldiers, he had his 300 men. Right? Gideon had his 300. I'm trying to be one of the 300. 5 points of advice you'd say to them. Your wife is putting pressure on you. 5.
Okay, 5 points of 5 points of advice. Number one, take it before God. Ask God how He would have you use your gift and what direction He would have you take it in. To surround yourself with people who will inspire you and help you improve your craft in whatever way you can. 3, make sure your social media is squeaky clean so no one can come and do anything from your past. I mean, you're laughing, but people will be digging.
You best go delete all your tweets now and just start afresh.
You better delete it before anyone knows who you are.
Yeah. 4,
Mad.
for be careful of shortcuts people would try and give you to get ahead. 5, even when the excitement ends, let the discipline push you through.
Comes like a Lecrae thing. I think his track is Even When the Music Stops. I think he's got a track like that where it's just like, stay diligent even when the music stops.
And it's hard, especially if it's not working out, especially if you know people who are in the industry that you're trying to get into and they're blowing, but then you're there and nothing's working for you. And then you might think that there are other people who are not as talented as you, why they getting the come up.
Yep.
That crap. Moses felt that one.
Oh. This photography journey has been a long one. Okay. Okay, I can vibe.
When I was at Apples and Snakes, I was just thinking, wow, you guys are getting paid a whole lot to do very little.
Bro. I like that. Pete, do you have anything you would add or amend or...
No, I think well done on the 5 points. Yeah. But I think integrity is so important. And integrity is what, that's what builds character, and character is what keeps you where talent gets you. Evidently, that was what Jonathan Majors lacked, but cool.
Yes.
Yeah. My wife said 6, even though she got to 4 5 points. Stay humble.
She offered one, so she's helping you. Your response should be, "Thank you, wife."
Thank you, wife.
Help me.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome, Mom.
Appreciate you.
This kept getting progressively worse. Yeah, cool.
I'm happy with that.
No, sorry.
Cool. All right. What do I want to talk about today? Okay. Let's talk Cat Williams. I'm going to segue into what I want to talk about today. So I think everyone has seen snippets, if not the whole.
Yeah, I've seen snippets. I haven't seen the whole thing, but
I've seen the whole thing. I've seen
Cat Williams, pipe bomb, shall we say?
Bro.
Where everyone was getting exposed.
Everyone. And their wives.
But did you see that Kevin Hart's ex-wife is going on tour with him?
with Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Damn. That's Omarion Lil Fizz type thing.
That's
from BTK.
wild.
Yeah.
No,
That is so wild.
when you're in your petty bag, you will just do whatever you want to do.
She's not a comedian, is she?
She is now.
But the fact that she's Kevin Hart's ex makes it funny. Makes anything she says funny.
Damn.
Because even if she's not going on stage, she's running joke.
Yeah.
Because she's just mocking. Yeah.
Her being there is a joke. Yeah.
After he just called out your husband.
Excellent.
But then don't you think that also kind of makes her a joke as well?
No, exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, so Cat Williams was talking about a lot of things. One thing he spoke about was people stealing his jokes and stuff. And like you can see compilations of like jokes he's done, and then how people have taken. Yeah, and some stole gracefully. Some did not even try. Looking at you, Steve Harvey. Cool. And so it got me thinking. Before I move on, do you guys have any comments about what about anything Cat Williams said in his interview that you've seen so far?
I think it should be important if someone goes on that type of rant, extended rant, and is factually inaccurate. I think that should be important. I think the fact that, he came like Kendrick on Controverse and was like calling out everyone. Yeah, it's fun, it's entertainment. But I think...
And no one's come out to say he's a liar.
Everyone has come out to say he's a liar. Everyone has come out to say he's a liar. Like, everyone is responding. Everyone is responding. Tiffany Haddish came out with videos of her at the comedy club. Kevin Hart said something. Kevin Hart's guy. Spank was saying stuff. Cedric the Entertainer has responded. Luda came with a whole verse.
The man's name is Spank.
Oh, I mean, that's. I think it's Spank anyway. But anyway, I think that's his nickname. Either way, people have responded, and that's the thing is there's a lot of factual inaccuracies that I think we should not gloss over because it's an entertaining thing that he came and was just shooting.
No way, it's funny. It's funny.
It was funny. It was funny. But the thing is, like, people, if you go on the comments on the video, people are like, "Oh yeah, protect him at all costs," and Cat Williams the type of guy to just tell you truth, and everyone is taking everything he said as factual when there are actually inaccuracies, and I think that's important. So that's all I have to say.
I feel like this is the half Peter boy. The fact check. If Google could, if Peter could have one function in life, it would be like the fact checker. But yeah, it's. But when I see content like that, it challenges me from the perspective of how willing are we to stand up for what we believe in the face of adversity. Like, obviously, I believe there's an element of that where he wanted to be antagonistic. He wanted to take jabs at people and to poke out different things. But there is I have like gradually been coming more and more across people who are just standing on their lives, like whatever they believe, new age, like they're standing on it and presenting that unapologetically. And every time I see it, I'm like, for me, it's a challenge to be like, whoa, why should they be unapologetic with something I believe to be a lie, and me not be with something I believe is true?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's for me. I'm watching. I'm just like, okay, it's challenging me to. It's almost like seeing Jehovah's Witnesses going around knocking on people's doors.
Yeah.
I'm just like, right, for you man to do that, then as much as I feel like, I believe that you men are talking nonsense, but the conviction to go around diligently knocking on people's doors, having these conversations where people are going to be hostile, turning you away, argument, blah blah blah. You're still being diligent with it. Yeah. And if you believe the 144,000 have already been sealed, like, yeah, like, what? Yeah, it's yeah. So I'm just like, okay, for me, there is that challenge to just be like, standing.
Yeah, I feel just on a random side note, I feel the exact same way with even like poets and stuff. Like, I see poets that are really good or really popular spouting some sort of nonsense as far as I'm concerned, and it's like, we have truth, and it's like I feel so challenged and thingy to write about. We've got something incredible to write about. You're just talking about how you think you're a girl in a boy's body. Okay.
The thing is, the thing is, once people become good at their craft, they almost think that gives them license to spew whatever ideologies they believe in.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting. Because I'm like, just because you're a good poet or a good this or good that doesn't mean you are educated enough or whatever to be able to talk about X or talk about Y as an authority.
Yeah.
As an authority on it. Yeah, and yeah, that cognac was going down swiftly, boy.
Do you think? Do you think that, like, for taking for example, the Jehovah's Witness way would you say is that a way that Christians should go about preaching the word of God to people? Or do you think that?
At the very least, I think with the same passion and diligence, like they're going hard, they're going hard, always coming with, ready and just doing the work. Same thing I almost feel about like the way Muslims go about, like their 5 times a day prayer or Ramadan, just staying true to the cause. That same passion I think we should have.
I think that with those two groups that you've mentioned, it feels like there's a lot more unity within them than there is in Christianity at times. On like a larger scale, we Christians, we are still trying to decide whether we should be marrying gay people in churches. Stuff. Having conversations about whether women should be able to preach in church is like it's like there's so many things that we're nitpicking about that we can't go out and be powerful, because even though the Bible talks about the dangers of a house divided, it feels like Christianity is very much a house divided.
Yeah. It's I heard this thing where John MacArthur was encouraging seminary students to not go and preach or talk in conferences or spaces that have women pastors preaching or talking as well.
Mad.
And I'm like, bro, are you all right? Are you all right? And it's funny you say that, because if you can have 2 people from the same church go evangelize and come and get into an argument with each other.
Oh dear.
Like, over something doctrinal.
Yeah.
They may not argue in front of the person, but they'll be like, no, I don't. Is that? But the cults are very good at
They believe one thing and one thing only.
one thing only. One thing and one thing only.
But us here, hundreds of thousands of denominations.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, yes, there is division. Yes, there is.
What do you think it would take to like unify us? Or do you think that we even need to be unified to be able to be effective?
I don't think we need. I think there are core tenets we need to be unified on. There are foundational truths like Jesus being the Son of God, salvation being only through Christ as a work of grace by faith. That like, yeah, like there are basic principles. I'm just like, these are like, believe that Christ died for your sins. If you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart, you have been saved. Like, these things, I believe that they are foundational and fundamental. And these things we need to agree in, even in like this triune nature of who God is.
And see, the funny thing is, someone else will come and say that there are other things that are fundamental.
Bro, and that's the thing. I think that there is a lot of cultural influences, a lot of reading nuance and stuff, and even just church tradition that has been seen as foundational. But I'm like, it's not, because even when the Jews were going around to the Gentiles talking about you need to be circumcised, you need to obey all of these, the church elders were like, nah, just remain as you were, stay pure from sexual immorality, and don't eat meat offered to idols.
Yeah.
No, don't eat meat with blood in them. Those were the three things. Just believe and just keep those three things. And so yeah, I believe that there are tenets, and people will, for different reasons, place emphasis on different things. But there are core things that are like, this is what makes you a Christian. Not that you've wrapped your head, not that as a woman you're wearing a skirt, like none of them things. And outside of that, I actually see benefit in some sort of varying perspectives and conversation. But how you do that is what's going to be interesting.
Explain that, because I don't know if I fully agree.
So, if the varying perspectives outside of who Jesus is and what we have in him and who God has revealed himself to be, the varying perspectives, if approached from a place of love and humility, allows us to dialogue and act like almost iron sharpening iron. But if everyone has the same ideas and it's just like, okay, cool, it's like the friction almost allows for growth in my mind, where it's just like your perspective is being challenged, you're being caused to see God in a greater and greater light by virtue of the different perspectives you're coming across.
I don't know if I fully agree, dude.
Shout out Jalade. Jalade was done as well.
Hey, I thought that was the thing, Drea.
Iron needs to sleep.
No, but you know, I think that having so much choice does more harm than good, or has done more harm than good, to the fact where people are even redefining who or what God is.
Yes.
No, but
And when you start to come against the foundational truths, then I'm like, yeah, you're spiraling out of control.
Okay. So let's say everyone's on the same foundation. Cool. Then at that point, wouldn't, I don't know. I feel like it would be better for Christianity if it was almost like an army, where there is like you got one person at the top, Jesus, and then you got like your commanders, and each commander is in charge of a different type of thing. You got your, if we're taking like the fivefold, for example, you got one commander that's in charge of evangelism, and then he's got his generals, and then everyone's got a little plan, and it's this person that. But that all coming from one place, rather than because right now it seems like there's like 100 million different armies, and I understand iron sharpening iron, but then the flip side of that is then we get so caught up in theological debates and discussions that nothing gets done.
Well, here's the thing, though. The problem is that diversity and that freedom to have diversity is actually like symbolic of the whole thing that God has demonstrated. The whole idea of free will is what results in being able to interpret it as we see fit, and there being those that desire more to get to the truth, and those that desire more to get to what pleases them. And so I think it will be difficult because with all of these other ones that you cite, there is an element of not one source of truth, but there's one source of there's one way to accept truth.
One way of thinking.
There's one way of thinking, whereas that isn't what God designed, and that's from jump in the garden. Adam and Eve having the opportunity to choose other than what God had intended,
Okay. So so I think even with these other things, there's one way of thinking, and then you decide on whether you want to follow this one way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's even the same with Christianity. Even if there is choice, there is still one correct way to do Christianity, I think anyway, which is God's way. And I think the problems happen is then comes from all the different interpretations of what God's way is.
Well, that's where I think it's interesting that Christianity doesn't look for us to be united per se by our understanding. We're called to be united by love, which then transcends some of these things. Because if we I agree with Mo. There are some things that maybe we can't disagree on. We can't disagree on the resurrection of Christ, and that's explicit in the Bible. If Christ didn't rise up, then the faith is pointless. So we can't disagree on that. But then other things, and I think built into the free will, built into the freedom that we're afforded, is the opportunity for some to say, I don't eat meat, and some to say, I eat meat, and it's like, well, then out of love, don't offend those that don't eat meat. But then there's room for disagreement. I think it's a feature as opposed to a bug in Christianity. This is the thing I'm saying, if that makes sense.
There's two sayings. I think I've said them both at church. Perfect love is cultivated around imperfect people. And you need tension, you need unfortunately, you need things to kind of go wrong and blah, blah, blah for you to be able to demonstrate. Love doesn't remember being wronged. Love is able to forgive. Love is able to do these things. You kind of need the tensions and the mistakes. It doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. It doesn't mean things are always going to go swimmingly. But unfortunately, we need all of these things. The perfect love of God couldn't have been demonstrated through Christ if the people he came to save turned to crucify him. And then he's able to then say, forgive them, they know not what they do, and still die for them. Also, in one of our Bible study conversations, we're speaking about being uniformed. And I feel like that's almost where what you're implying, where it's just being uniformed in thought, in action, in the way we approach Christianity and the way we go about doing it. But the thing is rather we are unified, not uniformed. And unified means there's going to be differences, but we're functioning well. We are still able to stand side by side with each other. In the same way that if we're uniformed, then everyone would be an apostle. Everyone would just be one thing. As Paul was saying, everyone would be an eye, or everyone would be a hand. But we're unified in that. Even though there's a hand, there's an eye, there's a foot, there's a toe, but we're still the body. And even if one toenail doesn't want to grow in the same way as the other toenails, and you'd want it to be as straight or whatever, it's still your toe. Or if your beard is patchy, you're nah, this beard needs to behave as the other side. It's still your beard, and you still are called to take care of yourself. So yeah, I do see the differences. I do see the tensions as not necessarily as a good thing, because there is evil and wrong in it. But as Peter says, it's almost part of the makeup of the church. And even through that, we get to see God's hand working when done well. But humanly speaking, yeah, what's impossible with man is possible with God. It is impossible with man, but it is possible with God. And I would even say that his house is a testament to that.
Well,
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
It's a tricky one. And yeah, but I think this is just one of those situations where we just need to ask God to touch people's hearts and.
Because even in every denomination, there are sub-denominations.
Yeah.
So even when you're like, we're all Pentecostal, we all believe this, but there's still subdivisions. Or we're all Anglican, there's still subdivisions, like whatever it is. So even within quote unquote unified bodies, there's still subdivisions within it.
And that's also why, for me, I end up thinking, what's more important, as opposed to whether or not the entire body can be unified, what I think ends up being more important is that we and the people that we interact with were able to demonstrate that love that would unify. And so, in as much as maybe everyone in the world is never going to jump on the same page, everyone that I interact with, I need to try and find common ground. I need to try and find an avenue to demonstrate God's love to them and be the change that you want to see, to use a cliche, as it were. And in those little interactions, whether or not that results in revival, I think ends up being beside the point. More so demonstrating that we are Christians and we can love one another, and we are doing that in our lives. We are actively sort of demonstrating that love.
What do you guys think you could do more to be unifying in your everyday lives?
I just want to point out that Jaladi is calling me out.
Yeah, for beer shaming. I think Jaladi just that just cuts a little close to home.
Jeez. Not let's catch strays.
Yeah. I think for me, it's being more intentional about finding common ground with people. I find it's easy to identify the areas where I don't agree with someone, and do whatever with it, whether it's dismiss them because of it, whether it's engage in debate, whatever the case. I think it's easy to focus on the differences, to focus on where we disagree, but then finding common ground, I think, would be better for me, at the very least, in our interactions with others.
Can I be cheeky and offer you one as well? This one comes from Proverbs, where it speaks about it's paraphrasing, but along the lines of, because your thing is very much about truth, and you're almost like militant. It's like it's truth, whether you like it or not. Like, this is the truth. But it speaks like the wise are able to speak in such a way that it's almost like, I think the phrase is like honey to the heart or something like that, where they're speaking truth, but it's still presented in a way that is more receptive. People are more receptive to it. And so, still being able to stand for truth, but standing for it and like arguing for it in a way that is more receptive. I think that would be a challenge, but also a loving challenge.
Yeah, and definitely one in which I've definitely failed in the past.
We've all failed in that. Yeah, we've all failed in that. So it's
when I know I'm right.
It's the best feeling in the world, Like being right and knowing that you're right. You feel bulletproof.
You feel bulletproof.
I love it.
Got you feeling bulletproof.
Yes. That's a pride worth being proud about. Oh my! You makes me feel a woman's side. I can't even lie.
how can I? That's a good question. Would you say in the church or just in general?
Everyday life.
Everyday life.
Like in the church, out the church, walking down the street, with people that you meet, get along with each other.
That's a good question.
Whilst you're thinking, I think for me, not being as dismissive of people and the ideas. Because sometimes people be talking, I just be like, oh, shut up. Yeah, and like once I feel like you're like talking rubbish, I can continue in the conversation, but tune out of it. Special power. It's a special power. Yeah, like Andrea hates it when like she knows that I've tuned out of a conversation, but then I can carry on the thread of it enough.
That ones were like, oh, so okay, yeah.
Yeah. Did she say, do you hear what I'm saying? And then I've heard the last bit of what she's saying, so I can repeat that last bit back to her.
Now she knows it's the last bit you heard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And apart from that, yeah. So I think being less dismissive, more gracious, having a bit more patience with people and for people. Because as much as I think I know, there's so much more that I don't know. And there have been times when, like, I've gone to like Bible studies in like my old church, and I've, like, I don't know why, but I've been surprised when I've heard people who I may have thought that don't know as much as me come up with just the most profound thing. I'm like, wow, that's deep. I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
you can never stop learning, and like you never know where wisdom will come from. Be it the mouth of babes, be it and by babes I mean children. By children, not
Be it a donkey.
be a donkey.
Bro. Yeah, I think for me, I almost have the reverse issue. Because I enjoy hearing people's perspectives, I sometimes don't either present my own or challenge. And yeah, because I kind of get engrossed in trying to understand where this person is coming from, and sometimes I can leave that conversation giving the person the impression of them being right. And I don't think that is always helpful. And so being unified can look like, or should include, room for disagreement, but still being able to love the person. And so if the person knows that, no, like, I disagree with you, but I am still loving you, or my perspective is different from yours, but I am able to look beyond that and still engage with you as a human, I think that would work more in the favor of being unified, than just taking in the person's perspective and keeping it moving. So yeah, I think it would be, still like being open to people's perspectives, but learning how to lovingly challenge when appropriate, and still loving the person even if it goes pear-shaped.
Sometimes loving means loving people from a distance.
It does.
Loving you is easy cause you're far away.
Hey, bro, there's a lo-fi rendition of that song, yeah?
I think I've heard it, actually.
Sick.
I think I've heard it.
Sick. Right, I heard the song, I had to pull it up. So many times.
Okay, guys, relax. Okay.
Come on.
So I didn't get the chance to talk about what I wanted to talk about today, but maybe I can just tailor it in. What's that?
It's your battery, yeah?
No, it was my wife's WhatsApp popping up on my screen again every day, bro. Yeah, so maybe we can start this conversation, and then maybe we can carry on next time. But so you know how one of the things Cat Williams was talking about was plagiarism. How do you guys make sure you don't plagiarize other people's work, even if accidentally? Like how do you make sure that your stuff is your stuff and your stuff alone?
In what context?
Be it through creative writing, be it through yeah, you know what? Let me just leave it open. Just like in like being creative.
Creative.
Even if it's just like putting together like a sermon or like a Bible study. Because I've seen guys who have just legit pilfered from Bible.org or their whole Bible study and just done it verbatim, bro.
That's interesting. That's interesting because I view those as two different things. And if I'm taking from someone's, like, so with the Bible study especially, because I feel it's difficult and can easily become disingenuous to always look for something new. Like when you come and preach, you have to bring some new revelation. Yeah, God can give you a new revelation, that's fine. But then sometimes I feel like, and you start to see stretching, like, okay, does it really say that? Or you start to see things being molded into what you want to present. And so when it comes to preaching or when it comes to sermons, I always find like I'm much happier echoing someone's sermon and giving credit, saying I got this from this guy, or pointing people back to, because I'm getting something and then maybe I'm adding something on top of it, or I'm getting something and it's like, this person has said it perfectly, there's no need for me to repackage that, right? I'm just conveying it to you because maybe I've had exposure to it and maybe you haven't, and so I'll always point you back to say I got this from this guy or I got this from that preacher. But then that's a lot easier for me, maybe because I don't necessarily see it as a creative endeavor. It's more so a communication. It's more so a transfer of knowledge than anything else. So with preaching and with sermon, it's different. I think give credit where credit is due, give your sources, references, all those things. But I'm much happier echoing a sermon that I heard that smacked me. The sermon I heard about, the bit I did about Halloween when I did it, was verbatim a thing I heard on the podcast. I talked about the podcast, I mentioned the podcast, linked to it, and then obviously had my little take on it that I added on top. But I'm much happier doing that. When it comes to poetry, like, I find, for me, and I'll speak about poetry because I guess that's maybe the creative endeavor that I can speak about regarding this. There's a difference between writing to, for me, the difference is writing to improve and writing to perform. And when I'm writing to improve, I will, maybe take from the guys that I'm liking at the time, the style, the use of wordplay, whatever. I'm much happier to use that as I'm improving, but those won't be pieces that I'm sharing. But then if it's a piece that I am creatively writing, I find I stop listening to people. I stop listening to other poets because I don't want to be influenced, or I don't want to inadvertently copy or something. And then there's just having integrity, and I'm not going to take someone else's piece and then just change. And I say this because I've been asked to do this before. I'm not going to take someone's piece and just change the name of the girl that he's writing it for and make that Jesus and come and present it. I'm not going to do that. And I've been asked to do it before. I won't do that. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I think there's a book. There's a book which has the title "Still Like an Artist."
Yeah, I've read that.
It's part of a 3-part series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Show your work, still as artists and something else.
And that there is an element of almost everything creative being a
recreation, almost.
A recreation
of something else.
Yeah, a remix, recreation, like something. So there's and particularly in the process of learning, people are encouraged to copy, because in copying you get to learn the technique, the nuance. So even in photography, you're encouraged to try to copy people's work that you enjoy, because you start to understand light as the person who used it in their work and what they may have used. Even when you're like shooting videos and stuff, try to copy the look of someone that you enjoy their work, and then like cinematographers and stuff like that, and you start to recognize, okay, they placed the light in here, blah blah blah, and then that, the more familiar you become with it, it becomes part of your repertoire as you're doing stuff. So you're not necessarily copying them when you're doing stuff, but it's like you're not reinventing the wheel. You're kind of using what's already there,
Building on it, yeah.
and building on it. And so it's when done with integrity, in that if you are just lifting, giving credit where it's due. So even in poetry, there are poems which is like, oh, this is after this poem, or this is after, or
Inspired
and so
by, yeah.
yes, and so there are like earmarks and stuff where it's just like, no, like this is after this, is whatever, this and that, and it may even be just like one line or a phrase or an idea that kind of sparked it. And so yeah, there is that sense of learning and stuff, and also even Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. So even if you're doing something creative, you may think, yeah, like I'm the first person who did this. No, the techniques and stuff may not be new, but the perspective will, because hopefully it's coming from your perspective. So yeah, I would say just do what you're doing, innit? If you're taking from people, take from people, but the integrity piece that Peter mentioned is what I would say. If you did take from someone, like don't be a waste man. Just be like, yo, this is inspired by this, or taking from this, or whatever. Give credit where credit is due, in the same way that you would like someone to credit you and stuff. I'll say that. But I would say in the process of learning, it is inevitable to learn from others. And hopefully as you digest it more or ingest it more, it will become something new in you. All the things that you've kind of gleaned will become something new in you, and your perspective would shine more so through the mesh of things that are in you. So yeah, still like an artist, bro.
Yeah, well, I think for me, then I think when it comes to like sermons and stuff, like I write sermons the same way I write poetry. So so I see it as a creative endeavor. Like
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah.
like even though it's like I'm trying to give you a message, I want to do it in a way that is easy to follow. So and that's why I like a lot of the time I'm like reading my sermon, because that's how the story goes. When it comes to pilfering, like you guys have said, give credit where credit is due, and also if you steal, sit down, think about what was it about this that you liked. What was it about how he did or like how she did what she did with these words that you liked.
Facts.
And then like I feel like when you can distill that, then it becomes easier for you to make your own version.
Yeah.
Like come up with your own style of being able to do it. And like quote the people that you're stealing from. Don't be gassed.
There's a guy who I've forgotten his name, but he had this course where he was trying to help people find their style, and he was like, yo, like whatever your medium is, just go out and look at anything and everything that you enjoy from your medium and just make a note of it. And then once you compile a whole load of stuff, exactly as you were saying, Robert, start picking out what you like about them. And then as you start to refine that list of what you like about them, you start to realize, okay, cool, like I'm enjoying the shadows and the lights and the blah blah and this, or even the if it's words, and it's like the descriptive language and like whatever it is that the rhyme scheme and stuff, and you start to recognize, okay, this is kind of what I am drawn to within these pieces of work, and then you can start to replicate that on your own. So yeah, definitely vibes with that.
I remember there was one battle rap. I think it was Charlie Clips versus Hollow the Don, and then I think it was the final verse where Charlie he started spitting all these other rappers' bars, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's fine, that's fine." And he's like, "Silly fool, I ain't trying this too. I'm Liu Kang. I become everyone that I already killed." I was like, "Yo, he came hard with that one."
I think it's that same battle, and then Hollow broke down Charlie Clip's whole style.
Yeah, he did. And with the 4 bars, that's a kick. You see how easy it is to do it? That was such a sick battle, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's round up.
Yeah.
Hookups?
I can go first on hookups.
Cool.
So, my hookup will be a YouTube channel. I wanted to do a hookup of a piece that I did that is literally this. So it was a piece inspired by one of Jalade's pieces, but I can't find Jalade's piece.
Yo, and look who's here in the comments.
I can't find Jalade's piece. I think I saw it on like a WhatsApp story, and I can't find it. And I know if I ask him, he won't send it. So I'm not going to do that one. Yeah. I'm not going to do that one because we've had that exact situation where I've seen a piece Jalade has written. It's inspired me to write a piece, and I actually sent it to him. And being the just don that he is, he sent me back feedback and made it better. And I was just like, yeah. Anyway, so my hookup will be a YouTube channel called Maurice Moves. And I just he talks about everyday carry stuff and productivity and stuff like that, but I just love the way he does. He's so thoughtful in what he presents, and so even talking about his watch collection, it's just so thoughtful. The watches he's picked and the reasons why he's picked them, and I just like the way that he goes about interacting with life. So yeah, Maurice Moves is my hookup.
Sweet. I can go next. Has Robert frozen? No, he's not.
No.
Yeah, I saw you blink very slowly.
It is almost 40 past.
Yeah.
I think it's a leg.
And I got to shoot first thing in the morning as well.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And it's a half an hour shoot, so quick in, quick out. I was going to do a PlayStation hookup, but I won't.
Man had to get in there. He's got to play.
Yeah. I used a PlayStation. I didn't drop any number. It could have been 4, it could have been 2, it could have been 3. Belief in fatherhood. I believe that he's doing an animation with his kids voicing the characters.
Oh, nice.
So there was a TikTok that my wife Jem showed me, where they're showing the storyboards and his kids voicing the characters, and it just looks sick. So I'm just like, yeah. So my hookup is just belief in fatherhood. He's got a lot of content around fatherhood and stuff. He used to make music, but I think he's still kind of pushing that through his thing, just a little piece. So yeah, it's a YouTube channel. He's on all socials, I believe, but I know him through YouTube. His content now, anyway. So belief in fatherhood.
Cool.
Or is it belief on fatherhood or in?
Belief
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know something, I'm gonna hook up that battle rap. Charlie Clips versus Hollow the Don. Great battle.
Come on.
Great battle.
Cool.
Yeah. And it was Shang
Sing.
Yeah. Not Liu Kang, sorry.
I've become everyone I've already defeated.
That's a, you know how sick of Warriors.
Bro, I'd be vexed if you said that about me.
Especially after everyone shouting, "Oh, that's my bar, that's my bar." Just adding to it. That's crazy.
Bro, there was a time when Wilding Out, they've got a new segment now where they're cussing each other. And then Emmanuel was like the ref. E-Man is the ref. And if you say a joke that wasn't too great, he's like, that's a shaky. So Charlie Clips, I can't remember who he was cussing, but he was cussing someone, and Shaky was a part of the cuss.
You see Young Fly?
It might have been. Yeah, I think it was because he was in a movie. I think he was in Next Friday or something like that, a remake.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, your acting was a little bit," and then Eman was like, "Shaky." He's like, "That's the word."
Exactly.
Everyone is dying. Yeah, I think he Charlie Clips loves doing that. It's part of his setup.
He's so good when he prepares, but when he doesn't, then he just all over the place. Well, but battle rap is hard, though.
Battle rap is hard. Nah, them guys. Battle rap is hard. Yeah. A-Wad is getting his flowers though. Like A-Wad has been making the rounds. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Shout out for the intro outro music. Calvin Turner audio remains logo. Twitter at Furnace UK. Instagram at TBS Furnace. You can email us at tbsfurnace.com. You can find us at soundcloud.com/The Black Furnace on all good podcast websites and apps. Black Furnace with an apostrophe. That's it. So this is the Black Furnace signing out.